Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Thursday evening to you all. Hope you guys are doing well out there tonight. And more importantly, staying safe. We have ongoing active severe weather. As you know, we have many tornado warnings. We have many severe thunderstorm warnings. I mean, these are stretching from up here in Wisconsin, Minnesota, down into Illinois. And we even have some tornado warnings into Northeast North Carolina. This is pretty much where we're expecting all the severe weather to unfold this afternoon to this evening. So we got a lot to talk about in this video. We'll speak briefly on current conditions, and then we'll dive into tonight's severe weather threat. I know there's a lot of people tuning into the people going live, whether they're storm chasers, whether they're just showing you guys a live radar feed, keeping everybody aware. And I certainly understand if you want to tune into those folks, because if you're living in the impact area over the next couple hours, you definitely want to stay tuned to the people going live. But this video is really for what could happen into the overnight hours. So we're staying ahead of the storm into tomorrow's severe weather event. We're not going to go past tomorrow into Saturday, Sunday, etc. We're going to focus in on tonight, the overnight severe weather threat, and then tomorrow's severe weather threat. Timestamps will be littered throughout this video. Take advantage of them. If you're not worried about tonight, jump ahead to tomorrow's segment of this video. You can make your way throughout this video, and there'll be timestamps sectioned out wonderfully for you folks. If you just want to hear about a certain state, certain area, definitely utilize those timestamps. I know my videos are very long, and I always want to reiterate that. So if you guys have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. If anybody has anything that I can pray about or pray over, please put it in the comments below. Let's get rocking and rolling. So this is current conditions, active weather, model guidance. Handled this pretty well. Missed on a couple spots, but we have this bowing line of severe, basically this severe line of storms bowing out and going through Wisconsin, all the way up into areas of northern Minnesota. We have severe weather popping off in northern sections of Illinois. Short range model guidance handled this pretty well. Where you see those purple boxes, that is tornado warnings. The red boxes, those are severe thunderstorm warnings. Now, we got some alerts down here in Virginia and North Carolina too. Even some tornado warnings. In fact, we have a tornado warning currently as of around 7-ish o'clock, or at least it expires around 7 o'clock. That's observed. So it's not just radar indicated. We have an observed tornado. So saying, hey, there's an actual tornado on the ground right now in North Carolina at the time making this video. Of course, by the time, if you're watching this around 10 o'clock, that won't be the story, but you get what I'm saying. We got some rain, even some storm activity going across the Mississippi Valley area, west and east of it. Outside of that, it's pretty quiet elsewhere. But let's talk about the rest of tonight. So we're not going to speak much on Virginia and North Carolina. This is an ongoing thing. Things will calm down in this area over the next few hours. But a lot of these areas are just getting started, or will actually uptick as far as the risk of severe weather as we get into the overnight hours. But we do have the enhanced risk that's continuing up into Wisconsin, down into Michigan. This will probably get cut off a little bit as this line of storms continues to move through. Slight risk does extend all the way down to Kentucky, western Tennessee, Arkansas, sections of Missouri, all the way back over to western PA, including Ohio. And a lot of these areas right into here, you guys haven't seen any severe weather yet. So if we look at the tornado outlook, we still got an area right here that hasn't even been really tapped into yet. So we have a 10% risk of a tornado within 25 miles of a given location. Not just a tornado, but a strong tornado into Chicago, South Bend, into Kalamazoo, almost all the way down to Fort Wayne. 5% risk of a tornado up into basically splits lower Michigan in half. It covers the rest of Indiana, sections of western Ohio, eastern Illinois, all the way down just about to the boot of Missouri, but not quite. Includes western sections of Kentucky. And then the green is a 2% risk of a tornado. This is between right now and tomorrow morning. Takes us to about 12Z Zulu time, which is pretty much daybreak tomorrow. Wind threat, listen, like I said, we go back to the radar, folks. We haven't even got any storms into this area yet. Okay, let's zoom in a little bit. No storms actually into Indiana yet, Michigan. Okay, this is in northern Indiana. This is southwest Michigan. So if we go back to this, not only do we, in the red area, do we have a 30% risk of winds exceeding 55 to 60 miles per hour. In this blackout line region where this low-level jet's going to ramp up over the next several hours, when these storms go through this area, they're going to have the opportunity to produce significant wind gusts, winds in excess of 75, 80, 85 miles per hour into sections of southern lower Michigan, northern Indiana, even into northwestern Ohio. So It's a 10% risk of significant wind gust. So hail threat, we continue to have this ongoing hail threat. Red area, 30% risk of hail exceeding 1 inch in diameter or larger. The yellow area, okay, that is a 15% risk. And if you live in this black outline region, okay, down to Indianapolis, over to Fort Wayne, Kalamazoo, Grand Rapids, down to Evansville, Paducah, Madisonville, Effingham. I mean, we have a 10% risk of hail exceeding 2 inch in diameter or larger, so a very large hail threat in these areas. And this is just, like I said, this isn't tomorrow's severe weather threat. This is ongoing right now into the overnight hours into tomorrow morning. So let's go on and section it out state by state. These storms are heading right towards you guys in the UP of Michigan. So we'll be able to fly through this pretty quick. So they're moving in from your southwest. By the time you get into 8 p.m. Eastern time, the storms are starting to move into the western UP. So here the storms are starting to weaken. They lose some steam as they gain latitude and just outrun the environment pretty much. So, storms are pretty much splitting the UP of Michigan in half at this point. Western half getting storms. Marquette, you could get some storms around 10, 11 o'clock, and then they pretty much go across the rest of the eastern UP around midnight to 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and then we're done. Okay, so expect a line of storms. It's on the way. If you look at radar right now, you can see it up here. This thing is intense in Wisconsin right now, but I do think this will try to lose some steam. But I mean, by the time this video uploads, this will already be entering the UP. Now we go down into lower Michigan. Storms are going to make their way closer, but it's really going to take until about 9 or 10 o'clock tonight. This is when these storms will be crossing over Lake Michigan, Grand Rapids, down to Kalamazoo. 10-ish o'clock maybe, you could be getting these storms maybe before. These lines of storms tend to go faster than what short-range model guidance indicates. So we get into 11 o'clock. These are some significant storms producing damaging winds, very large hail, and there's still a tornado threat with these. You see these squiggly circle lines coming off these. This is where we have more intense, stronger updrafts, potentially rotating updrafts. The storms will be more intense the further southwest you get in lower Michigan, but this is midnight. Storms going right through the middle of central lower Michigan, Lansing, Jackson, down to Kalamazoo. And by the time we get into 1 a.m., 2 a.m., potentially 1 to 2 o'clock in the morning, maybe before, you're getting slammed by a line of severe storms into Detroit. And by the time we're about to 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning, I think the threat will be just about done for the entire state of Michigan. Now, there's already severe weather popping off in northern Illinois right now. But as we start to get to about 8 to 9 o'clock, whatever energy forms will go over Chicago, could hit areas like Champaign all the way down to almost Carbondale. And then we'll have to see how these storms hold together or really form and hold together as they get into, say, Indiana. But this is around 10 p.m. based off the latest run of the HRRR model. Storms look pretty intense. Pockets of those purple and white, that's where we could have very large hail damaging winds. And we just have to see how these storms go. This is around midnight. We got a broken line of storms indicated by the latest run going through Indianapolis down to Evansville, Fort Wayne, getting hit. They could go through, say, South Bend around 10, 11 o'clock, maybe before, maybe a little after. And then by the time we're into 1 a.m., 2 a.m., that line's about done. Now, as we're starting to get to about 6, 7 o'clock, we have to watch for a cluster of more storms down here, like towards Evansville, Louisville, and just southern areas of Illinois and Indiana. We'll watch out for that. I think that'll mainly stay in Kentucky. So we need to watch out for these storms. This is ongoing right now. We have ongoing severe weather popping off. Like I said, popping off. We have severe storms forming right now in northern Illinois. Okay. So what about Ohio? Okay, I think it'll be fine, honestly, through about midnight. Then around midnight, maybe an hour or two before, some strong to severe storms begin to move into the northwestern portion of Ohio. Toledo, Bowling Green, down to Findlay. You guys will have the opportunity to get hit by strong to severe storms, and they'll be the worst probably in the western areas of the state. But as we're starting to get about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, storms, potentially severe storms, move through Cleveland down to Columbus. This is 5 o'clock. Time frame up here if you're missing me saying the time. But what's interesting to me is it has these storms pretty intense into eastern Ohio. I mean, Canton, Youngstown, 5 o'clock in the morning could be literally a banger. Very loud early morning hours. And then these begin to move into PA. And speaking of PA, Well, apparently I don't have PA pulled up. That stinks. So I'm actually going to do it on the fly. I got you covered, Pennsylvania. Speaking of you guys, so let's get into about, this is midnight, not a whole lot going on. And then we take it to about, this is about 6 o'clock in the morning. Storms start to litter western PA. Hail, damaging winds, maybe a tornado risk. There's a 2% risk here in this area into the overnight hours. And then we get to about 8 o'clock, and this introduces the next day. But about 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, we should be waking up to a lot of storm action across areas of Pennsylvania. And then Kentucky and Tennessee. Could get interesting tonight. Watching this area. This is around 6 p.m., so pretty much right now. We start to get to about 10 o'clock, not a whole lot going on. We start to get to about midnight, still not much going on. And then I want to watch some energy that tries to come out of the boot of Missouri and northeast areas of Arkansas. We could have some strong to severe storms in that area tonight. But model guidance has continued to show a complex of storms that begins to intensify as it enters western Kentucky. I mean, into the wee hours of the morning tomorrow morning. This is 4 o'clock in the morning tomorrow morning. Look at these storms. See the circles coming off of them? That's rotating, intense, stronger updrafts capable of producing very strong storms. I mean, large hail, damaging winds, tornadoes. And this shows a pretty nasty line of storms moving into this area. And then we'll connect this all the way into tomorrow's severe weather outbreak threat. And we'll have to stop it right here. So we got storms cruising through Middle Tennessee up into Kentucky. So I think we're going to wake up to strong to severe storms moving right through Kentucky and Tennessee already tomorrow morning. And this isn't even the main event. So you're already going to wake up to a pretty loud morning in these areas. And we'll have to stop it here because we move into tomorrow's severe weather threat. And just looking at the updraft velocity swap between now and tomorrow morning, it picks up on that line of storms down here. See the slashes of color that indicates more intense, stronger updrafts, rotating updrafts potentially, and then it picks up on this area in southern lower Michigan, and then areas of Ohio and Indiana. A cluster of strong to intense storms later tonight in this area. So just wanted to talk about that a little bit, and we'll show you surface wind gust swath. It's not always, doesn't always do the best, but I'm telling you, the storms are right here. The storms have not moved into this area right here yet. But I'm telling you, you need to watch out because if you go back to this, the HRRR model is really indicating some severe wind gusts. These pockets of, say, like orange, red, even white. I mean, that's 50 to 60, 70 mile per hour wind gusts with some of these storms. And then look at this cluster of storms that's picking up down here that could certainly produce some severe wind gusts tomorrow morning. Okay, so tomorrow's severe weather threat. All right. We're going to have to look at weather-wise here. That red area, we have had an upgrade from an enhanced to a moderate risk in the red area. Level 4 out of 5. This includes sections of Indiana, Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Missouri, a very small section of Arkansas. The enhanced risk area, it's a level 3 out of 5. It includes obviously around the red area, the moderate risk area. And then the slight risk goes from pretty much just south of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, all the way up to South Bend, all the way down to Huntsville, Alabama, all the way over to the Mid-Atlantic coastline, like the Delmarva and the Tidewater. Okay, so let's zoom into this. If you live in Evansville, Louisville, hopefully you can see this pretty good. St. Louis, Evansville, Louisville, down to Bowling Green, Clarksville, Poplar Bluff, as of right now, up to Effingham. You guys, a moderate level 4 out of 5 risk of severe weather. Enhanced risk, Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Dayton, pretty much Columbus, down to Knoxville, Nashville, down to just north of Memphis, Jonesboro included into this. Okay, now what's driving this? The tornado outlook. If you live in this yellow area, Cincinnati, Evansville, Louisville, pretty much everybody that I just mentioned that is in the moderate risk area, you guys in this region here, okay, let's make it a little bit larger because I know that's kind of blurry. Okay, in this area right here, that is a 10% risk of a strong tornado within 25 miles in a given location. The brown area, that is a 5% risk of a tornado within 25 miles in a given location. And the green is a 2% risk. And we'll just zoom into a couple of these areas. Poplar Bluff here, Mount Vernon, Carbondale, down to Dyersburg, Clarksville, Owensboro, Evansville, Louisville, Lexington, Kentucky, Cincinnati, up into kind of the southern half of Indianapolis, if you will. 10% risk of a strong tornado. Okay, but what's actually driving right now the moderate risk upgrade is actually winds. Okay, so let's just take a larger look at this. That pink area, folks, that is a 45% risk of winds exceeding 55 to 60 miles per hour within 25 miles of a given location. The red area is a 30% risk of that. And then the yellow is a 15% risk of that. And that black outline region, which includes all of the pink area and a good chunk of the red 30% risk area, that is a 10% risk of significant wind gusts. So that's winds pushing 75, 80, 85 miles per hour. So let's zoom into this pink area. Once again, it includes St. Louis, pretty much everybody I just mentioned for the strong tornado threat. Evansville, Louisville, doesn't extend quite as far east like the tornado threat does, but Bowling Green, down to Clarksville, Paducah, Mayfield, Poplar Bluff. I think I already said St. Louis. You guys in this region, 45% risk in the pink area of winds exceeding 55 to 60 miles per hour, and also a 10% risk of winds exceeding like 75, 80, 85 miles per hour. And then that 30% risk of damaging winds, Indianapolis, Cincinnati, up to Columbus, Charleston, West Virginia, Lexington, down to Nashville, down into areas like Jonesboro, Arkansas. And then the risk of hail. Okay, make it larger here. Red area, 30% risk of hail exceeding 1 inch in diameter or larger, the yellow, a 15% risk of it. And then if you live in the black outline area, which goes all the way down to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, that is a 10% risk of significant sized hail. Hail exceeding 2 inch in diameter or larger. Dallas almost goes down to Shreveport, the Texarkana area, through Little Rock, Hot Springs, Fayetteville included, Memphis included in this, Jackson, Tennessee included into this. Pretty much everybody in the enhanced and moderate risk I've already said about 1 million times. And this actually goes all the way up into northern Indiana. This is Bloomington, Illinois. So big time risk of severe weather in this area. Let's break it down state by state, and then we'll wrap the video up. Let's talk about Missouri first. What we're going to do is work west to east. So cover all the states furthest to the west, and then get everybody furthest to the east. Okay, Missouri. So we'll start this off around 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Okay, this is starting off tomorrow's severe weather threat. Not a whole lot going on. We take it to about midday. Well, it's actually about 11 a.m. Already strong to intense severe thunderstorms begin to form around or just south of Springfield and Joplin. I mean, these storms are intense right out the gate, just like the storms up in Wisconsin and Minnesota were today. So we take it to about lunchtime, and this could already be a tornado-producing supercell right here. This is a discrete cell showing up. It's been showing up on model guidance for a while now. 1 p.m., 2 p.m. Look at these storms cruising across southern and southeastern Missouri. Look at the storm trying to hit St. Louis. I mean, it's pretty early in the day, 2 p.m. This is 3 p.m. These clusters of storms are affecting southeastern Missouri around 3 p.m., starting to move into Illinois. Could have storms in St. Louis around 2, 3, 4 o'clock. And then we get into the late afternoon, and then here comes another cell developing. The environment stays about the same, guys. I mean, it gets worked up a little bit from the morning and early afternoon convection, but here's another storm forming here. And these start to move east and southeast, and then maybe a line of storms around 7 p.m. I'm going to make this go a little bit further down here because my face is in the way. This is 8 p.m., this is 9 p.m., and we have strong to severe storms capable of producing all hazards. Strong tornadoes, very large hail, damaging winds moving through the boot of Missouri through the late evening hours. And I think after that, it'll begin to calm down somewhat. We will take it all the way into the overnight hours, and yeah, it looks pretty calm. Now, Arkansas, same thing, 8 a.m. Time frame up here if you're wondering. 10 a.m. Could have some storms up near Fayetteville, kind of the northwestern section of Arkansas. We just have to watch those storms up in southern Missouri. Could they extend a little bit into the northern counties of Arkansas? Absolutely. We just have to watch for that. And then check out this one cell that forms just north of Russellville around 3 p.m. tomorrow. We'll see if that actually happens. And then bang, this is around 6, 7 o'clock. Storms explode over Arkansas. And these will be capable of producing very large hail, damaging winds, and even a tornado threat. Not as high as to your neighbors to maybe the northeast, but these storms will be packing a punch. I mean, baseball size hail I think will be possible with some of these, with a lot of thermodynamics working in place. It's going to fuel that large hail threat. This is 8 p.m. This is 9 p.m. Look at this cell around 9 p.m. tomorrow night, right over Little Rock. Oof. Man, you might want to find a way to protect your cards and just belongings that could get damaged by hail if there's a way to do it. Not everybody has the luxury of covering stuff up. I understand that. But this is 10 p.m. This is 11 p.m. This is midnight tomorrow night. Still storms trailing off into southeast Arkansas. And then this is getting into the wee hours of the morning. So it looks like we got to watch for really late afternoon, early evening. Storms will really just spawn, explode out of nowhere, it would seem like, across central areas of Arkansas, and then continue to move east, southeast throughout the late evening and the overnight hours. We will show some love to northeast Texas. Kind of the same initiation of the storms in Arkansas will be the same way in northeast Texas. Boom. Like, this is 5 p.m. This is 6 p.m. Big old storm forms just east of Dallas. Not sure if that's going to be the way this happens. Could be some storms in southeastern Oklahoma too. But this is 7 p.m. This is 8 p.m. Nasty storms developing really anywhere in northeast Texas. I mean, it could be Waco, Dallas, Fort Worth, Tyler, area. You could get hit by some really bad storms. He's a loyal viewer out of the northeast Texas area. Texarkana, the Arklatex. Just be aware of some powerful storms. And some of these could slip into northwestern areas of Louisiana too. But look at these storms kind of trying to sag all the way down to College Station. So late tomorrow night, could have some intense thunderstorms down here, capable of producing some very large hail and other severe threats. So just be aware of that. Illinois and Indiana. Now, this is waking up tomorrow morning. Okay, so we're getting to 9 a.m., 10 a.m. around lunchtime. Okay, they're getting about to 2 p.m. tomorrow. This is about 3 p.m. Could have some intense storms begin to enter the southern half of the state. Springfield Point south, I would say. Down to Carbondale, Mount Vernon. You guys could get hit by some powerful storms. And some try to make it all the way up into Champaign. Now, the big question is there'll be a warm front in this area. How far north does this warm front actually extend north is what I'm trying to say. How far will it surge to the north? That's a big question. If it surges pretty far to the north, then some of this strong to severe thunderstorm activity could trend north. But it does show a cluster of powerful thunderstorms up here, Springfield, Champaign, tomorrow afternoon. So if you don't get any storms tonight in this area, don't think you're out of the woods. Could get more. And we got nasty storms down here in southern Illinois, starting to move into Evansville, Indiana. Like this is 5 p.m. This is 6 p.m. tomorrow night. Clusters of storms affecting all the southern counties of Indiana. We got some storms as far north as between Indianapolis up to South Bend. More clusters of storms moving into Carbondale. These could produce all hazards. I'm telling you, especially in southern Indiana and southern Illinois. These storms could produce EF2 or stronger tornadoes, folks. I mean, there's a risk of strong tornadoes for a reason. 8 p.m., look at all that storm action down near Evansville, Carbondale. 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 11 p.m., midnight. Things begin to calm down. Is that it? Looks like it. So it's like the big-time action will be in the southern areas of these states. So we'll back it up a little bit, go through that one more time. This is about midday, early to mid-afternoon. See those storms? This is late afternoon. This is evening 10, 11, 12, and that's all she wrote. So powerful storms. Down here to Kentucky and Tennessee, two big states for tomorrow's severe weather threat. I want to reiterate, we're already going to be waking up some really bad storms, I think, tomorrow morning in these areas. As you can tell, it's 8 a.m. tomorrow. A lot of storm action. I think whatever's left of this will take its way into eastern Kentucky as we start to move into the mid-morning hours. Could have more storms already trying to develop around Nashville up into southern counties of Kentucky. This is around lunchtime. This is around 2 p.m. time frame up here. Okay. We take it to about 4 p.m. We could have tornado-producing thunderstorms in western Kentucky ongoing. Paducah, Mayfield, Owensboro, all these areas. Western Kentucky could be a highlight area of the country that's going to have a significant tornado threat. But all other hazards too. Extreme wind gust, large hail. This is 5 p.m. This is 6 p.m. These clusters of storms capable of producing all hazards moving through Bowling Green, Louisville, into Lexington. Could have more additional storms that form behind this that begins to move in. But how does this line of storms behave as it makes it back into eastern Kentucky later tomorrow evening? This is 7 o'clock. This is 8 p.m. We got more storms developing in northern and western Kentucky. I mean, just a menacing line of storms is moving through these areas. Now, at this point, there hasn't been a whole lot showing up in Tennessee. I mean, there's not a whole lot going on, but I do think eventually, as we get late tomorrow night, it's going to be, unfortunately, a nocturnal severe weather threat, I think, for most of Tennessee. But this is 11 o'clock, severe storms moving through western Tennessee. I mean, look at central Kentucky, just hit round after round. And then eventually we start to get into 1 o'clock tomorrow morning. 1 o'clock Saturday morning, and storms are moving through middle Tennessee, starting to enter eastern Tennessee, slamming eastern Kentucky, Knoxville, the Tri-Cities region, Johnson City, Gatlinburg, down to Chattanooga. Nasty storms for your overnight period tomorrow night. So powerful thunderstorms. So, I mean, this is multiple rounds, guys. Multiple rounds in these areas. Now, Alabama, Mississippi, tomorrow morning, not a whole lot of anything going on. We have to take it all the way into tomorrow night. And then finally, we start to see some storms in northwestern Mississippi, and we take it into about midnight tomorrow night. And we do have some pretty strong thunderstorm activity north of Tupelo into northern Mississippi. And we're eventually going to get this line of storms that drapes down south into northern Alabama and northern Mississippi after midnight tomorrow night. Tupelo, Florence, Huntsville could get hit by a holding together, if you will, line of storms. Dalton, Rome, Georgia also getting hit by storms. This is 5, this is 6 o'clock, this is 7, this is 8, and this is getting into Saturday morning. Could have a broken line of storms surging south through central Mississippi, Alabama, and even like Atlanta, Georgia, so north areas of Georgia. Ohio, once again, we're back in the state of Ohio. I will say midday tomorrow could have some storms in southern sections of the state. But it really, as we start to get into about 7, 8 o'clock tomorrow night, that's when, like, Portsmouth, Cincinnati, down over to Parkersburg, up to West Virginia, begins to experience a risk of strong to severe storms. But look at these storms up here tomorrow night, about 9 p.m. up in, Bowling Green, Toledo. You guys, I mean, there could be some intense storms up in here. You could get hit twice. In like under a 24-hour period between what happens late tonight and to tomorrow night. And just clusters of storms in northern Ohio. And you're wondering, man, is central Ohio going to get anything? You might. Remember, this model guidance isn't exact science. It's not conclusive. It's just simulated radar guidance here. But, we start to get to about midnight tomorrow night, just rounds of heavy rain in southern Ohio, but could be storms. And then that's about it. Okay. And then PA, we're going to wake up to a line of storms tomorrow morning going across the state. I think this will weaken as it gets into like Scranton and Philadelphia, things like that. And then we take into the afternoon hours and we get into the evening hours. Could have some storms that develop near Lancaster, Reading, Philadelphia, Wilmington. So watch for some storms in that area. And then we have to watch for late tomorrow night for some storms. But overall, I think PA will be okay. I don't think it's an extreme severe weather threat in this area. And then we look at West Virginia. First off, you got to watch for the line of storms for tomorrow morning that around midday will eventually make its way through West Virginia. So Charleston, Huntington, really anywhere in especially central and southern West Virginia could get hit by a line of storms late tomorrow morning into tomorrow afternoon. Could produce some gusty, strong winds, or can't rule out a tornado or some large hail. And then we get rid of those, and then we'll have another round that likely comes in late tomorrow night. This is 10 p.m., hitting basically the same areas. The storms will likely hit about midday tomorrow for West Virginia. Charleston, Huntington, you guys will have an opportunity to get hit by what we call a mesoscale convective system. Line of nasty storms will sweep through the state, and then could just have more so some storms and heavy rain late tomorrow night. It's 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, Saturday morning. And then we take it into 8 a.m. Saturday morning. And then Virginia, North Carolina, this same line of storms that I keep mentioning that will be there in Tennessee and Kentucky tomorrow morning will move through western areas of North Carolina, especially western areas of Virginia, by about early afternoon tomorrow. And these could intensify, re-intensify. This is 2 p.m., so we could have some intense storms in northern North Carolina throughout the entire state of Virginia. We could have some nasty storms up into Delaware also. You see this one storm. Be careful of that one. And we'll just have to see how these storms behave as they sweep across Virginia and northern North Carolina tomorrow afternoon. So, for example, this is lunchtime tomorrow. This is 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., and 6 p.m. And does anything happen late tomorrow night in these areas? Yeah, I do. I think that late tomorrow night, I mean, I'm talking about midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., we could have another cluster of nasty storms move through Virginia. So Virginia definitely isn't exempt from this severe weather event. And then look at this nasty line of storms that moves into the North Carolina and Tennessee mountains, Virginia, and also as we get into about 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, Saturday morning. So could wake up to a pretty stormy start if you're vacationing in the mountains for your Saturday morning. So to round off this video, guys, this is the updraft velocity swap between now and tomorrow morning. Now we're going to take it through the rest of the event for tomorrow. You see how it's just littered with a bunch of colors? All these slashes of colors is basically intense updrafts indicated by this model run. When you have intense updrafts, you have the risk of all hazards. Rotating thunderstorms, tornado threat, and many other hazards, all the above. So intense thunderstorms through this entire area, Tennessee, Kentucky. I'll take a look at like Arkansas too. Picking up on, picking up on the potential for several supercells in southern Missouri, maybe Arkansas. You can see the slashes of colors. This is, just very strong updrafts, intense updrafts. And folks, one thing that I'm definitely concerned about is trying to find the best. Let's go back to Kentucky and Tennessee. Is these severe wind gusts like? Let's go. Yeah. So look at all these little embedded areas of like these colors, guys. I mean, looking at the color scheme here, color key, 60 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts with some of these clusters of storms. And I know that it's just everywhere. It's lettered on the map. This is where it's picking up on these lines of storms. But yeah, I mean, hope that video helps, guys. We have a lot of weather to deal with for the foreseeable future. God bless all y'all. Stay safe. And I'll talk to you again in the morning.